So we're going to start our reporting. First, we're going to discuss about models of communication. So just to give you an idea, this is a study that was made a long time ago. It started with Plato. And basically, we just want to give you an idea as to how we communicate and what process we use and how we communicate with each other. So let's go ahead and start with the linear model. By the word itself, it is like one way, right? So as you can see in the arrow, you have a sender and a receiver. So the key features for this is that it is one way of communication used for mass communication. Sender sends a message and receivers only receive, no feedback, no and then there's also a concept of noise. Like, what do we mean by concept of noise? Does your receiver get the message across? Is there any interruption in between sending the message? So for this one, it's good at audience persuasion and propaganda settings. So also intentional results. So when we say propaganda settings, most of the time this would be someone speaking in front of a large crowd trying to send their message across. So for example, meeting the avance, where a politician is trying to send a message for his campaign and the purpose of him running. So also, if you've seen in our history where Hitler would talk to a large crowd, that is what we call a linear model. Now, what is the disadvantage of this? Communication is not continuous, as no concept of feedback and no way to know if communication was effective. So, since you don't get any feedback from the receiver, if the message is sent or if there's any reaction from his end, basically, this is just one way. So, the second one is the transactional model. So, on this diagram, as you can see, there is vice versa, right? The arrow goes to the sender, to the receiver, and then the receiver becomes a sender, and the sender becomes a receiver. So this is a better version of the second one, as there is obviously a feedback happening. So the key features for this is its use as interpersonal communication. Sender and receivers interchange roles, simultaneous feedback, context of environment and noise, and feedback is taken as a new message, right? So there's one way of there is feedback that is happening. So for this type of model, there is what we also called a field of experience. So the experiences of the sender and the receiver interacts together, and this is where the message is sent. So whatever my experiences is and your experiences, that is also a big factor during our communication. So the benefit of this is it's simultaneous and you get instant feedback, no discrimination between sender and receiver. And then the cons for this one is it encourages non-verbal communication, more noise due to communicators talking at the same time. So sometimes if you don't give each other enough time to digest and feedback, or sometimes if you don't listen but wait to send a respond, then this becomes a problem in some of our communication for transactional model.